Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? This is Jeff from BKJmacTV, and this is the BKJmac podcast experience coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. Tonight, we're going to do the review on the Elimination Chamber, the WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Now, that was on Peacock this past Saturday, all the way from Perth, Australia. Now, a lot of people were mad because the pay-per-view started in the morning, Saturday morning. But people don't understand, even though it was airing Saturday morning in the United States, it was 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and all the way in Perth, Australia. So people had to stay up in order to watch the pay-per-view live. But people who didn't get a chance to watch it live got the chance to watch the replay later on during the day, which I happened to do while I was working. While I was working, I was watching WWE Elimination Chamber 2024. And let me tell you, I found it quite interesting. We're going to do an article review about the pay-per-view, and I'm going to give my points about the article. This article was written by Graham GSM Matthews, and this is from the Bleacher Report. All right, let's go. WWE Elimination Chamber 2024 featured no shockers among the outcomes, but successfully set the stage for what it is shaping up to be a star-studded WrestleMania 40. So let me remind you, the Elimination Chamber continued the journey to the road to WrestleMania 40, which is going to be held in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So stay tuned. And I'm going to WrestleMania 40. Anyway, Rhea Ripley retained her Women's World Championship against Nia Jax in empathetic fashion and now shifts her focus towards Becky Lynch, who reigned supreme in the Women's Chamber match that set the show. So Becky Lynch won the Elimination Chamber, and she's going to face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 40. Now, I like the fact that Rhea Ripley was able to defend the World Women's Championship as the last match on the Elimination Chamber. Just to be able to look at it, let's be honest, 10 years ago, to see a women's title match be the last match at a major pay-per-view was not going to happen in 2014. If we go back to 2004, it still wasn't going to happen. If we go another 10 years, 1994, it still wasn't going to happen. And you could see the evolution and the transformation in the women's wrestling. I could tell you right now, women's wrestling has evolved, and it's an equal footing as the men's wrestling in WWE. And it's crazy. Women wrestlers in the WWE are getting paid considerably well, as opposed to the indignities of the WNBA, where women are really not getting paid as much. They're not being valued as much. And that needs to change. And then they need to look at the examples that WWE is setting and how they can really, push women's product across the national forefront. So shout outs to WWE really pushing the Rhea Ripley over Nia Jax Women's World Championship match. Drew McIntyre also emerged victorious as expected in the Chamber match to punch his ticket to Mania, where he will challenge Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I think everybody knew that Seth Rollins was going to win the Elimination Chamber match, but I really wanted Randy Orton to win the match. I felt that Randy Orton was out for a year and a half, and this would have been a good feel-good story. He comes back and challenges for the world title at WrestleMania, but I guess, Triple H or Mr. Levesque wanted to do one for McIntyre because McIntyre didn't get a chance to have his WrestleMania moment, because when he won the Royal Rumble, he faced Brock Lesnar in an empty arena with people on a TV screen watching him beat Brock Lesnar. And to me, that's not really a WrestleMania moment. But nonetheless, he's getting a do-over, and it's going to be at WrestleMania 40. So he blew out his eardrum during the Elimination Chamber, and the doctor told him he might not make it to WrestleMania 40. But then he told the doctors, "Do you not know who I am? I'm going to fight to make it to WrestleMania 40, no matter what the circumstances are." So Drew McIntyre is definitely dedicated and ready to risk anything to be at the main event and to have his WrestleMania moment at WrestleMania 40. So stay tuned for that. However, there are several superstars who came up short in Perth, whose roads to WrestleMania are a lot less certain, and with Chamber being the last major stop ahead of the anticipated pay-per-view, it's unknown how they'll now factor into the Mania mix. A handful of feuds were furthered at the event and are expected to be blown off on the grandest stage of them all, while others are left without an obvious opponent. From Bianca Belair to LA Knight, let's look at what's next for these 5 notable names following the failures at Elimination Chamber. Bianca Belair, although she came up short, I believe she will have an opponent at WrestleMania 40. A woman of that caliber is not going to be left off the WrestleMania 40 card. Definitely, it's not going to happen. Randy Orton, who lost the Elimination Chamber, is definitely not going to be left off the WrestleMania card. I believe he's going to set the tone and be at WrestleMania 40. Nia Jax, even though she lost a hellacious world title match, I believe she's not going to be off the card. But here's this thing I want to bring out. I believe the WWE should create a WWE Women's Intercontinental title. I think it's important because women's wrestling has evolved so much that they need to have a mid-card level title and for the women's division. And just like how Gunther has basically popularized the Intercontinental title, or how Logan Paul has basically boosted the popularity of the US title, the women need a mid-card champion as well. And I think an Intercontinental title for the women will serve it justice. And I think they should do an inaugural match for the women's Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 40. I think the crowd would tune in to see who would be the first women's Intercontinental champion in WWE history. Let's see, going down this list. Overall, the show was a success, and let's see what happens at WrestleMania 40. If you're looking to tune in to the Elimination Chamber match, please tune in on Peacock to watch the show. I think you'll enjoy it. There were some hellacious moments, especially when Bobby Lashley was basically throwing people through the glass partitions in the Elimination Chamber. People were being thrown over the top rope into the chamber doors. It's an enjoyable pay-per-view. I think the crowd or our wrestling fans will definitely enjoy it. But honestly, the moment I'm taking away from this is I believe there should be a WWE's Women's Intercontinental title. It's been a long time coming, and the women's division has improved significantly. They need to have a mid-card Intercontinental title. Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode of the BKJMac Podcast Experience. Peace, love, always one.